What do you think about his whole black privilege?
The whole black privilege by Charlemagne the God.
Yeah, not the book, but just the
But right,
concept. Yeah.
right, because I haven't personally read the book,
Mm-hmm.
but the concept of it, I have no problems with it
Okay.
at all. Just for the simple fact that there is a such thing as black privilege, and we need to understand that. We need to understand that black privilege has been suffocated since forever, and we have never actually thought about what black privilege looked like.
Mm.
Like we always talk about white privilege, you know, they don't have to worry about the cops harassing them. They could show up and get a job that they may not be qualified for, because you know they always say, "Oh, we don't believe in affirmative action," but y'all had affirmative action for like a ton of years,
Mm-hmm.
hundreds and hundreds of years. But there's not all privileges are the same. Doesn't make it not a privilege. So with the black privilege, we have the innate ability to just create shit from thin air. As hard as the white community have pressed us down, we've always found a way to make money. We may not have been making as much as they have because they controlled the money, but we've always found a way to make money. When you want to talk about entrepreneurs, black people was one of the first few entrepreneurs because no one would hire us because we was black. So we had to figure out how to make our own money. That's black privilege right there. Knowing that you have the ability to take something someone discarded and figure out how to make money off of someone else's trash. They can't do that. That's why they cultural appropriation. They take from a culture because they couldn't create it. They never thought about creating it. But now it's done been created, they want to take it and use it for themselves. And what do? We create something else. Then they take that and we create something else. And we create something else. To the point that they just can't stand us. Because deep down it's like, no matter how hard I beat you down, you figure out how to get up. And I think, put that in terms of a boxer. A boxer gives this dude his best punch. Constantly pounding him. Dude, keep getting up. At some point, that's going to mess with your psyche. At some point, your ego going to take a hit. Because you're like, yo, I'm hitting you with everything. You keep getting up. And the person that's getting up is like, I ain't going to let you break me. I might lose this fight, but I'm going to win the war. Because the psychology behind it, even though the scorecard said you won, when we walked out of here, you're going to feel like a loser because you didn't beat me the way you wanted to. You had to go to decision. And that's a loss for you. That's an emotional, psychological loss for you. So the next time we cross paths, that's what you're going to remember. I'm going to make sure I come back stronger. I'm already mentally stronger than you because I kept getting up. Where you fell that first time and can't get up. You know, if you put white people under the same pressure we was been under, they couldn't handle it. And there's proof of that. Look at the first Great Depression. White people lost their money in the stock market. They lost their mind. People was jumping out of windows. They was killing themselves. Because they lost some money. We never had money. And I mean money, I mean real money. We never had real money. But the nickel and dimes we had, they took from us. We didn't kill ourselves. We figured out a way to make some more nickels and dimes. They took that from us. We found another way to make some more nickels and dimes. That's black privilege. Knowing we have the ability to manifest something out of nothing. Knowing that we have the wherewithal as a community, even though we all ain't lockstep, arm in arm together, we still know our greatness. If you look at the world, you tell me what part of the world that has not been influenced by black culture. From music, to clothing, hairstyle, even speech. I remember growing up in New York in the 80s. I spoke slang. I speak slang now. And this is another thing, duality of black people and white people aren't sure about. I'll talk about that later.
Keep going.
But even with slang, when I was growing up, they labeled it Ebonics. They labeled it and said it's an uneducated, broken English that black people speak. Notice I said uneducated, broken English. First of all, the human language evolves. It never stays the same. Language evolves. Now, that same slang Ebonics that they was beating us up on, white kids are talking it. They do it through text. And now they got the audacity to teach this in schools. teachers are starting to learn it. So when the white kids do it, it's not slang, it's innovative. But black kids has been doing this. First off, you took us from our land, forced your language on us. We took your language and made it better. Then you called it slang, and now you over here copying it because it's better than what you gave us. That's what I'm talking about, black privilege. We took a language they gave us, flipped it. I can have a whole conversation with another black person. And when I say black person, I mean a black person from the hood that speaks slang. Because not all black people speak slang. There's different type of black people, so we shouldn't be categorized as one thing. But I could sit down with a person from the hood, and all hoods are different, because slangs change depending on where you're from. But I can go back to New York, talk to some dude from the hood, and we're talking, and it's all slang. And it makes perfect sense to us. And if you're a person that's not fluent in slang, you're sitting there like, what are they talking about? But we're having a real conversation, talking about real stuff, because it's another language. That's what it is. At some point, we said, we don't want to learn your language. The English language is the hardest language to learn. One word can mean several different things. We simplified it to our own and made it our own. Then they got big mad. Then they start copying it. Now they're reproducing it and trying to claim it as theirs. It's not. It's been ours. That's just one aspect of how our privilege influenced the world.
What do you think about because I went to the museum in DC, and I was just like, I guess shocked is the wrong word, but it was like almost everywhere had slaves. Like every country had slaves. Like what do you think about that? What is your impression?
I'm not surprised at all. Like I already knew that, and I don't mean I knew that in aspect of like duh. It was an aspect of, like I said earlier, look at the world. Name where we haven't been influenced in something. So for us to influence something, we had to have been there. The world has been influenced by us. We've been there. There's not a corner of this earth we haven't been. Hell, they just found out in Great Britain one of the oldest people in that hemisphere was a black person. Ain't nowhere we haven't been.
Do you feel like there's a separation in the black community today? Or you feel like there's more togetherness?
Nah, I would say this. Yes, I do feel there's a separation. But I feel it's the same separation that's always been there. I don't think the gap has widened nor closed. I think it's been consistently the same because of the internal tools that was placed upon us of self-hate. Goes back to the black privilege thing. We didn't understand what that was. We didn't even think we had it. Where you can have a black dude and a light-skinned dude, right? That was a whole thing. Oh, you're lighter than me, so you must get that extra privilege and shit because you're almost light, blah, blah, blah. No, that means his ancestors were in the house and they got raped. That's what that means. And your ancestors just stayed out in the field. But we still had the same struggle. Where they wasn't getting beat, they was getting raped. Where you wasn't getting raped, you was getting beaten. Y'all both have trauma, and it's in our DNA. So the gap in our community hasn't closed, but it hasn't widened either. Because the minute shit gets bad, we find a way to band together. It's kind of like that thing in your family. I can talk crap about my cousin, my brother, but don't you do it. That's where we are. But we need to understand that the divisions we have are divisions that aren't even our own. It was put there and we're perpetuating it. So no, we're still apart, but not to the point we'll let the white community come in and just ravish us. We'll band together at that point.